Welcome to another episode of last week's Comics Today. Last week was an amazing week for comics. This week is more on the okay side of things, but we will get into that. And we're going to start with A Righteous Thirst for Vengeance. This is the final issue, and it is fantastic. There is a disgusting bit in here where one of the characters both pisses and shits himself, and it is drawn and it's colored in full detail. But this does end the story. It does end well, which I am glad for. I don't think I could have handled more terrible things happening, but it does end well. I do recommend the series overall if you have a strong stomach. Terrible things happen to these characters. It's this is one that's going to linger with me for a long time, I think. But it's great if you can take it. That's all I'll say. Up next we have Love Everlasting issue 2. So there was this is more, how do I start this? Issue 1 was 3 separate stories with connective tissue bringing them together. This is still 3 stories, but it's one story told over 3 parts. So each issue, I'm guessing this is a Substack thing, is still divided into 3. The first 2 in here are straight romance. Issue 3, or part 3, is where the thing comes into play. And I'm gonna make this reference. My wife and I just watched She-Hulk episode 1, and there's a thing right in the beginning. She is being a lawyer, and as she's leaving the room at one point, she turns to the camera and says, "Alright, look, you're going to be distracted until we address this, so let's just address it right away," and then you get her origin story for most of the rest of the issue. And that's basically what's happening here. Is there's this thing that I know about from the first issue that doesn't get addressed until, well, really ever, but it doesn't really come into play until the third part of this. So the first 2/3 of it are just straight romance comic, and then the last third is where, you know, the interesting stuff starts happening. And I don't know. This is weird. I just want more of this interesting thing, and the romance stuff is good, it's well told, but it's not why I'm here. So I hope that there is better balance, or I don't know, we get away from some of the romance aspects and we just get to the thing that's happening. I don't know, I can't tell. And if we don't get more of this and instead get more of this, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be reading this. Maybe I'll make a decision after issue 3 and we'll see how things go. But this is well told. So the first issue was largely the 20th century. I don't remember. The final chapter might have been late 1800s. This is more, it's closer in style to sort of a Jane Austen. I don't think there's a year referenced in this one either. I don't think there's a year referenced. But here we can see the art. It is very clean. It is fantastic. I am a fan of the artist, and Tom King, as I say every time I mention his name, is unpredictable to me. So I cannot broadly recommend this unless you're willing to wait out and see how things unfold. That's what I'm doing. And I don't know how much time and money I'm going to put into that effort before I make a decision about whether or not to continue. I guess, as I said, we're going to see how issue 3 unfolds, and we'll go from there. Do a Powerbomb. Issue 4. This series has been phenomenal. I'm loving every panel of it. There is something that surprises me. So I said this is issue 4. It is a 7-issue series, and based on the, I believe, previous issue, we saw the tag team chart, the bracket. That's what I meant. And there are 8 tag teams in this tournament, so that should be 3 matches, right? The previous issue, there was a match. This issue, there's a match, which means, I guess, that they should be in the championship next issue, which is issue 5, and then there's still 2 issues to go. So things, I'm going to safely assume, continue after the tournament, but I don't know. I don't know where things are going. This is still amazing. There is a lot of wrestling in here. There are 2 flashbacks, I believe. 2 flashback sequences, and it starts here with one, and we see the opponents that the team here are facing. So get more history on these 2. We also get a bit of history on Cobra's son and her mother. So it's still just a phenomenal read. I'm loving this series. There's a bit there, and actually everything. There's one of the announcers in this, and everything that I read from him, I hear in JR's voice. I don't know if it's just me, but I don't know. That's a fun element as well. So this is great. Highly, highly recommended, even if you are not a fan of wrestling. It's just a really well-told sports story. Up next, we have a one-shot for Until My Knuckles Bleed, and I'm still curious where the Until My Knuckles Bleed overall series is going. We've had a mini-series so far. It was 3 issues long, and now a one-shot that continues with Damager. Here he is in sort of a group therapy session, and he tells a story about a prior adventure. I will say that the fonts kind of annoyed me a couple times in here. So here there's a 2-page spread. There's a similar setup later, but each character shown here has their own logo, and it is in a different font, and my eyes had trouble switching between that many fonts so quickly, but that's a minor gripe. The art is still fantastic, and the story is interesting. It's kind of skippable, though. I don't think you need to get this one. I will still recommend getting the Until My Knuckles Bleed miniseries, that collection, but here the art is really just fantastic. It's all black and white, as you've seen. But the miniseries is great, and I recommend that. And this, so far, I think is a skippable story. So you don't need to get this, but if you want more of Santos, then by all means, go for it. Up next, we have Jonna and the Unpossible Monsters. This is issue 11. There is only 1 issue to go, to be concluded, and final issue on sale soon. I don't know if this has been solicited. I think Jonna has been coming out not monthly, but I don't know the schedule that they've been on. So I don't know if issue 12 has been solicited yet. I guess I will get it when I get it. But Samney is drawing this, as well as Kirkman's Firepower, so I guess at some point he was going to be delayed on one of those books, and I think currently he's delayed on both, although I don't know if it's entirely his fault or Kirkman's as far as Firepower goes. I think Kirkman was taking responsibility for the previous delay. Anyway, the art is great as always. This is largely an origin story. I don't want to show much, but I will find there are spoilers to be seen in here. But here we have a bit of art if anyone is somehow unfamiliar with Samney. The guy is phenomenal. But this is coming to an end next issue. I will already recommend grabbing the, what I'm sure to be, 1-volume collection of this once it comes out. It's really a great read. I highly recommend it. I've been enjoying the hell out of it. This might be a surprise, but Jurassic League is back. So I really enjoyed issues 1 and 2. Issues 3 pissed me off because they switched artists, and I skipped issue 4 because it was that same artist again, And now issue 5, the good artist is back, so I bought it again. I don't think I've missed much. Darkseid is an Ankylosaurus, and I fucking love that. Let's see, there's a full body shot of him in here somewhere. You see there his size versus this is Wonder Woman Triceratops. But he's massive. Anyway, Dinosaurs, Justice League. We do get this shot at the end. Batman is off doing something else. We'll probably team up with them to take down Darkseid in issue 6. Or he's Can't remember his name now. Somehow they included a syllable of Ankylosaurus into Darkseid's name, which I also really enjoyed. And if I could remember what it was, I was planning to use that just going forward. Darkseid. Fantastic. I love it. Anyway, this is not something that I recommend. It is something that it's not even really a guilty pleasure because I don't feel guilty. It's just this is very much for me. This is a fun romp, I guess, and since I'm skipping issue 4, I'm not going to be picking up the collection of this eventually. It's just really fun, and I'm enjoying it. Samurai Doggy issue 2. Issue 1 was oversized. I don't know the page count. I'm going to guess somewhere around 40. It seemed like a lot was happening there. This is more standard sized, and what's weird about this, kind of disappointing, is we get this is our main character for the issue, and we see what leads up to the same ending from issue 1, but from a different perspective. So we get to the same place, but we don't get anything new, really. I don't know. This confuses me. Unless this blue character has a larger role to play in the following issues, I don't know why we got this. So maybe blue is going to be around. I can't tell, but this is kind of disappointing. It's not a progression of the story. It's not... I don't know. It's a completely different, basically, first issue about a character that is not that interesting. It's, you see there, this is a scene that was happening in the first issue, and we're seeing it now from a different perspective. The art is still great. It's just the story doesn't hold its own weight. Lastly, I got Batman vs. Robin issue 1. I had been reading the Robin series. It ended recently, and I like Damian overall. I wanted to see where things are going. This is also written by Wade, who is writing The World's Finest, which I mostly enjoy. This, not so much. But I made a comment recently, I think it's in the Dr. 13 video that you haven't seen yet, but I made a comment that there is a current crisis happening, Dark Crisis on Infinite Worlds. I am not reading it. I largely do not care. Just tell me when it's over, whenever you reset the universe and it's bright, shiny, and new again. I don't care about how we get there. And sort of the same thing is true here. So there's whatever's happening, this is not well told enough for me to care. So I don't think I'm going to continue. This is supposed to be a 5-issue miniseries, and just let me know when it's over, and I'll read a wiki about what happens, because I don't think I can deal with... It's just badly written. I'm just going to say, it's poorly written. I expect better from Wade, and I do not know what's happening. But this, it's not good. I don't recommend it. There's a set of preview pages out in which Pennyworth comes back. So you see him there, and he's got 2 hands. So there's a mystery, and I don't care about that either. I expected this to be something better, and I'm disappointed. So I'm saying don't get this. So that is everything that I got this week. As I said, it's a very mixed bag of stuff. There are some disappointments, there's some good stuff, and I don't know. I haven't really thought about pick of the week, but I'm gonna give it to... These are the two best ones, I'm gonna say. This, I don't think gets pick of the week because it is really well done, however, it's also disgusting. But I'm gonna give it to Powerbomb, who has amazing art and a very heartfelt story as well. It's, I just love everything Danny Warren Johnson is doing. And he is also doing this, but I don't broadly recommend this. So get the wrestling, don't get the dinosaurs, I guess is what I'm saying here. But that is everything that I got this week. As always, I get my books from a local comic shop. If you don't know where yours is, you can use this URL to find the one closest to you. Thanks for watching.